Some stories don't start with a cold wind. They start with the kind of breeze that feels alive, the kind that slips right past your ear like it's breathing. You tell yourself it's nothing, just your imagination. But somewhere deep inside, a voice whispers, "No, someone else is here." It was Christmas Eve. The city wasn't covered in snow, but December had wrapped Alabama in this strange emptiness, like someone had thrown a thin blanket of sadness over everything. People were out shopping, lights glowing, carols playing. Everything looked normal. But Jody, she felt something off, like the air itself was carrying a nervous heartbeat. Johnny was driving while Jody stared out the window. Every passing face looked tired, busy, or just ordinary, until her eyes locked onto an old woman walking alone. She moved with that eerie kind of quiet that follows people who can't see the world around them. Her hand brushed the air like she was searching for walls that weren't there. Her eyes were pale, blank, like light had abandoned them years ago. Jody's lips tightened. "Johnny, pull over, she's gonna fall." Johnny stopped the car. Jody stepped out, breath shaking a little, and walked toward the woman. "Auntie, do you need help?" The old woman tilted her head toward Jody. She couldn't see her, but Jody felt something worse, like the woman was sensing her face through the air itself. "Child." Her voice was soft, old, too old. The kind of voice that sounded like it had been waiting years to speak again. "Just help me get to the grocery store. I need a few things for Christmas." Johnny came around. "What's your name, ma'am?" The woman smiled, and there was something unsettling in that smile, like she already knew everything. "Just call me sister." The name sent a cold shiver right through Jody. Not the kind winter gives you. A different kind. The three got into the car. Sister sat perfectly still in the back seat. Too still, like a shadow pretending to be human. Every few minutes she whispered, "Child, can't you feel it? The angels are walking around us." Jody rubbed her hands together. "No, I don't feel anything." Sister let out a soft little laugh. "You will. No one ever feels them the first time." They reached the grocery store. Jody helped her shop. And every time Jody picked something up, Sister would say, "Your hands, they carry a strange light, child. You don't see that much anymore." Jody tried to laugh it off, but even her laugh sounded nervous. Sister asked for a poinsettia, but the flower looked wrong. Red like blood. And the petals were cold, ice cold. The drive to Sister's home was even more unsettling. She kept murmuring, "Not all angels are made of light. Some follow, the ones who have survived the dark." Johnny shot Jody a look. "She's kinda weird, babe." Jody didn't answer. When they reached her address, the house looked picture perfect. Lights, garlands, everything neat and cozy. But there was no sound inside. No footsteps. No life. Like the house existed only to be looked at, not lived in. Sister walked in, placed the poinsettia on a table and whispered, "Christmas makes the angels active, busy. Some you see, some you don't." She paused, then in a voice barely above a breath, "But the ones you don't see, those are the ones standing closest." Cold whispered down Jody's back. Johnny swallowed hard. Sister smiled gently. "Merry Christmas, children, and remember, when angels are near, the air doesn't feel cold. It feels empty." They said goodbye, but both felt something behind them, watching. That night, neither of them slept. Sister's words sat in their minds like a weight, and they had no idea The real story hadn't even started yet. Because the next day, when Jody and Johnny went back to that address, there was no house, no lights, no poinsettia, nothing waiting for them at all. Just something that would shake every belief they ever had. The address where they dropped Sister off. The house wasn't there at all. And that wasn't even the scary part. That was just the story stretching in its sleep. The real truth was about to wake up. Christmas morning, while everyone else was opening gifts, laughing, sipping hot chocolate, Jody had only one thought running laps in her mind. That old woman must be alone. Let's go check on her. Johnny hadn't slept either. Something from last night kept chewing at his nerves. They got ready quietly, too quietly, and drove toward that same neighborhood. The closer they got, the heavier Jody's chest felt. Last night the neighborhood had been glowing. Clean houses, twinkling lights, calm winter air. Today, it looked like another planet. Dirt on the road, trash everywhere, broken fences, cracked pillars. The whole place looked like someone had sucked the life out of it. Johnny slammed the brakes. This is the same place, right? It looked totally fine last night. Jody swallowed hard. Johnny, look, that's the same address. The house they saw last night, decorated, warm, shining, was now a half-collapsed, lifeless wreck. The door was hanging sideways, like the wind had been punching it for years. Jody whispered, "There were lights here yesterday." Johnny said quietly, "Yesterday, a completely different house was sitting here." Jody stepped out. Her throat was dry. Every breath felt like cold fingers sliding down her neck. Before she could knock, the door creaked open by itself. A young woman's voice snapped. "What do you want?" A girl stood there, dark circles under her eyes, fear on her face. Johnny asked, "Is there an old blind woman living here? We dropped her off last night, right here, at this address." The girl looked honestly confused. "Sir, we've been living here for 8 years. There's no blind old woman here. We've never even seen one." Her mother stepped out. Her face was the kind that had seen too many bad nights. "You're at the wrong place," the woman said, tired but firm. "No sister lives here. No one even comes here." Jody's voice cracked. "But last night, right here, there was a house, Child," the woman cut her off. "This house has been like this for 15 years. Those Christmas lights, decorations. This place is older than your memories." Johnny felt something cold crawl up his spine. Not the kind of cold that freezes your skin. The kind that freezes your beliefs. Jody whispered, but her voice, her smile, her address. The mother lowered her head. "Sometimes on Christmas Eve, people see things they aren't supposed to see on regular nights." Johnny's voice trembled. "What kind of things?" The woman's eyes went empty. The way only people look when strange noises wake them at 3 a.m. "Old souls," she murmured. "People who aren't alive anymore but can't rest. Or angels, who sometimes walk around wearing human faces." Jody's head started spinning. She kept saying, "The angels are walking around us." Johnny put a hand on her shoulder, but even his hand felt cold now. "Do you think we met an angel?" The woman didn't answer at first, then finally said, "If she was an angel, you two are very lucky." Her voice dropped lower, almost into a whisper. "But if she wasn't an angel, then I don't know what chose you." Jody's legs started shaking. They got back in the car. Inside, it was a heavy silence. The kind that doesn't scream. It just slowly murders your heartbeat. Johnny turned the key. The engine started, but the air inside the car felt wrong. Heavy, crowded, like someone was sitting in the back seat. Breathing quietly, Jody turned around slowly. No one was there, but on the seat, there was a thin, fresh depression in the cushion, like someone had just gotten up. "Johnny," Jody whispered. "These marks, they were here last night too. Remember, Sister sat right there." Johnny kept his eyes on the road. "The mark, it's deeper today." Jody tried to laugh, but the sound never came out. The air inside the car wasn't cold anymore. "Just dead," Jody murmured. "Johnny, is this how an angel's presence feels?" Johnny didn't answer, because they were both thinking the same terrifying thing. Angel or not, that thing hadn't left them. And when Jody and Johnny reached home that night, they both felt like something was following them. But the real twist hit when they stepped inside and found something waiting for them. Something they never bought. Something that shouldn't have been there at all. When Jody and Johnny reached their porch, the December evening had already started sinking into deeper darkness. The Christmas lights were still glowing, but tonight, they didn't feel warm or festive. It felt like each bulb was an eye staring at them, watching. Jody unlocked the door, and the moment they stepped inside, they froze. Right in the center of their living room sat the poinsettia, the same poinsettia they had left inside Sister's house. Johnny's mouth dropped open. Who the hell brought this in here? Jody's throat went dry. We didn't bring it back. We didn't even touch it after last night. It was exactly the same flower, the same red petals, the same cold-looking leaves, that same heavy feeling around it. Jody slowly stepped forward, reached out, touched it just lightly. Her heart almost stopped. The flower wasn't cold. It was warm. Warm like skin, like a living body. Jody stumbled back. "Johnny, this flower feels alive." Johnny inhaled hard. The kind of breath a man takes right before his entire world flips upside down. "Jody, someone was inside our house." Tears welled in her eyes. But who would come in, and why? Johnny checked every door, every window. All locked, all sealed. Not a single sign anyone had broken in. It was like the flower had just appeared out of thin air. Jody sat on the couch, her hands shaking. And then a thought slammed into her mind. "Johnny," her voice was barely there. "Sister picked this poinsettia, right?" Johnny nodded. "Yeah." Jody's eyes widened. "But you remember her wrists? Those red marks. Like someone had grabbed her too hard." Johnny stared at her like he didn't want to understand. "What are you trying to say?" Jody pressed her lips together. "Johnny, I don't think Sister was human." Johnny went quiet. The kind of quiet that means the brain is out of answers. The house sank into a strange emptiness. Not the peaceful kind. The kind where the walls themselves feel like they're listening. Jody got up and walked to the kitchen to get some water. She grabbed a glass. Click. The kitchen light flickered. Jody froze. Blink. 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 Like something was moving in front of the light. Johnny called from the hallway. "Jody, you good?" Jody tried to answer, but then her eyes landed on the wall near the fridge. Something was forming on it. A faint white patch of frost. shaping itself into the outline of a hand. A thin, long, icy handprint. And the handprint slowly began sliding downward, as if someone was dragging their fingers down the wall. Climbing down. Cold air shot through Jody's lungs. A scream built in her throat but wouldn't come out. Johnny ran into the kitchen. Jody, he saw it. The handprint. And now, beneath it, tiny oval shapes were also appearing. Fingerprints. Fresh ones. As if that thing was now standing on the kitchen floor. Johnny grabbed Jody's hand. This could be a prank, maybe moisture. Jody cut him off. When was the last time moisture walked down a wall and left fingerprints? Johnny had no comeback. They backed away. Fast. As they stepped back into the living room, they saw the poinsettia again. But this time, there was something else lying beneath it. A small white ribbon, tied in the exact same way. Sister used to wear it. On her little hat. Jody's heart dropped straight to her stomach. Johnny, this ribbon was on her hat. Johnny stiffened. Jody, maybe it's just a coincidence. Jody shook her head slowly. No, it's not. Something came into our house. Something we left behind when she said, "Feel the angels around you." Johnny looked completely lost. The house was silent again. But not the usual silence. Not empty silence. This silence had weight. Movement. Breath. The kind of silence where you can feel something walking around you. But you can't see it. You can't hear it. You can only sense it breathing. Johnny whispered, "Jody, what if it's watching us?" Jody slowly turned her head, her voice barely escaping her lips. "If it can enter our home, then it means it wasn't following us." She took a trembling breath. It came inside with us. And that night, when they finally closed their bedroom door, for the first time, they both heard it breathe, right next to their ears. A slow, whispery breath, like it was leaning in close and saying, "I'm not going anywhere." The moment the bedroom door clicked shut, Jody and Johnny both froze. The air wasn't just cold anymore. It felt heavy, thick, like the room wasn't filled with air but with a presence. Johnny slowly switched on the lamp. The light did brighten the room, but something was off. Everywhere the light reached looked normal. But beyond the edge of that light, the darkness looked alive. Like it wasn't just dark, it was a body. Jody grabbed Johnny's hand. "Johnny, do you feel that? Something moving in here." Johnny clenched his jaw. "Yeah, I feel it too." The room was silent, but it was the kind of silence where you could hear someone breathing, someone watching, someone standing way too close. Jody turned around to look behind them. The closet door was shut, but a thin red glow seeped out from underneath, the exact shade of red as the poinsettia. Jody whispered, almost choking on her own breath, "Johnny, there's light coming from under the closet." Johnny grabbed a flashlight. "I'm checking." Jody grabbed his arm. "Don't, if that thing, whatever it is inside." Johnny shook his head. "Keeping the door shut won't fix anything." He stepped closer to the closet. The nearer he got, the heavier his breathing became. Like something on the other side was listening. He reached for the handle. Jody's voice cracked. "Johnny, please stop." Johnny slowly opened the door, and both of them froze. The closet was empty. No body, no shadow, nothing except that ribbon. the small white ribbon they found under the poinsettia in the living room. Now it was lying right in the middle of the closet. Perfectly neat, perfectly placed, like someone gently put it there and closed the door. Johnny swallowed. This thing, it's walking around our house. A shiver crawled up Jody's arms. Johnny, she came with us. When we left that blind woman, sister, behind that night. She didn't stay there. She stayed with us. Johnny closed the closet door. But as he pushed it shut, he felt something lightly bump the inside. Like something was standing right behind it. Jody whispered, "Johnny, do you think she'll let us leave?" Johnny couldn't answer, because the truth was already in the room, hanging in the air like the thick pressure before a storm. Jody sat on the bed, eyes wide, unblinking. Suddenly, a faint, familiar scent drifted through the room. The scent of poinsettias. Jody jerked upright. "Johnny, why does it smell like that flower in here?" Johnny shook his head. "There's no way a flower from the living room scents the bedroom like this." Jody's breathing stopped. "Meaning the flower. Or that thing is here." Johnny shined the flashlight under the bed. Nothing. He checked under the dresser. Nothing. But then, in the mirror above the dresser, he saw something. Not his reflection. Not Jody's. In the corner of the mirror, a tiny white shape, like the top of a little hat, exactly like the one sister wore. Jody stepped in front of the mirror, and the reflection disappeared. Johnny whispered, "She doesn't want us to see her. She just wants to see us." Tears pooled in Jody's eyes. If she wasn't an angel, then what was she? Johnny sat beside her. "I don't know, but whatever she is, we have to figure out why she chose us. Otherwise, she's not leaving." The room fell silent again. But this time, the silence meant she was right there. Between their breaths, between their heartbeats. Jody slowly turned around. The closet door, the one Johnny had shut tight, was open. Not wide, just a little, just enough for a thin hand or a small white hat to peek through. Jody's voice trembled. "Johnny, the closet just opened on its own." Johnny ran toward her. Nothing came out of the closet, except the ribbon. Now it was lying right on the edge of the doorway, as if something in the darkness had pushed it forward. Gently, deliberately, almost lovingly. Johnny's voice cracked. "She's not trying to scare us. She's telling us. She's still here." Jody gasped as the air softened, like something brushed past her shoulder. Johnny turned quickly. "Jody, did you feel?" Jody's eyes widened. She walked right past me. Both stood frozen. The room felt dead. The light flickered. And then, that soft, sweet scent filled the air again. The scent of old flowers, of poinsettias, of something heavenly, or something not human at all. Johnny whispered, "Jody, this won't be the last time." Jody's voice broke. "Johnny, I don't think she can leave us, even if she wanted to." The lamp dimmed. Darkness spread across the room. Jody and Johnny stood side by side, but it felt like someone else was standing between them. A tiny bit of weight, a faint pressure, a small quiet breath, and they finally understood. That thing didn't enter their house. It didn't follow them home. It had been sitting with them since the night they gave that blind woman, sister, a ride. The room went pitch black, and in that darkness, they felt something faint, like a smile, right next to them. Close, too close. And after that night, no matter how many lights they turned on, they never saw her again. But every breath, every second, every corner of the house whispered the same truth. Sister never left. Has anything like this ever happened to you? If yes, tell us in the comments. We might turn your experience into our next video. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support the channel.